everybody. Welcome to the Hallmarkies podcast. We're really excited today. Today we are recapping the non-Hallmark Christmas movies that we got in this last weekend. Really fun. We love watching these Christmas movies. And I'm film critic Rachel Wagner, and Amy's here.
Hello.
And we have a very special guest today from the Pilot podcast. We have Mitu is here, and we're so excited to welcome you to the Hallmarkies podcast.
Thank you for having me. I am so excited that we had an opportunity to connect on the Fran cast, and
Yes.
we got to nerd out over Hallmark movies a little bit, and then I got to learn about Hallmarkies.
It was so fun. We were talking about Living with Fran on the Fran cast, which is a little podcast I do on the side, which is so much fun and I love. And we were talking about Living with Fran, and we mentioned that Mary Lou Henner was on one of the episodes. And then we got started talking about Aurora Tea Garden. And me and Colleen were like, oh my gosh, me too, is a huge Hallmark fan. This is so exciting.
I love Aurora Tea Garden. I was very excited to see Aunt Ida.
Well, why don't you tell our audience what you guys do over at the Pilot podcast?
For sure. So my best friend BJ and I host a podcast called the Pilot Podcast. And the idea came about when we were just feeling lazy, and we wish that there was a podcast that just watched the pilot episodes of TV shows to tell us whether they were worth watching or not. Because I don't know about you, but I've certainly hate binged a show or two because I've just gotten too far into it. And so that's what we do on the Pilot Podcast. We watch the pilot episodes of new and exciting TV shows to answer our listeners' questions. Should I watch this? And every other week, we also do listener recommended shows. So they aren't always the newest show. Sometimes it's a show that our listeners just really want us to check out. So last week we did Steven Universe Future, which was a fan favorite, and it was just really cool to check out.
Yeah, and they had reviewed The Nanny pilot, which is such a good pilot, and that's how I discovered you for the Fran cast. And we talked about Living with Fran in one of our bonus episodes, and that was really, really fun. And what percentage of the shows would you say you recommend?
It depends. BJ is a literal scientist, so I think he could do a better job with numbers. You have the wrong one of us, unfortunately. But I would say there's some episodes, there have been some weeks where we love all of the new shows. So every other week we do an episode where we review 4 new shows. And there are some weeks where we're all about all of them. 2 weeks ago when we did a slate of 4 shows, I think we agreed on recommending one of them. So it really is our true feelings and our true reviews, because we want our listeners to feel like friends that we're recommending these shows to.
Do you find it's harder to go back and look at pilots for shows that you have seen, or rather, looking at new shows to you? You already have sort of an emotional investment in the show as a whole, and then you're looking at the pilot?
I would say for Steven Universe Future, I was really excited that was recommended because I love Steven Universe and Steven Universe Future. And so I think that I put a lot of pressure on BJ in the episode to like it as well. I was like, every time we had a little critique, I was like, but let's think about this instead. So that happens. But I think for the most part, unless we are really nerding out over a show, if one of us has already seen it, it's more just an enthusiasm for the other one to check it out and less pressury. Though BJ's not here to talk about his experience, so I can I'm allowed to say this without being checked.
So how did you become a Hallmark fan? How did you get into the genre?
I have always watched the universe of, today we're doing some Lifetime movies, and so I have always watched that universe of, sometimes cheesy, like fun to watch movies. It's starting with like hanging out with my mom and watching those like teen pregnancy pact and stuff movies on Lifetime, like those like movie of the week lesson movies. So I don't think that there was.
We call them cautionary tales.
Cautionary tales, yes.
Yeah,
so I don't know that there was a moment that I necessarily fell in love with them. I just think my mom and I would see stuff like that and go, "Oh yeah, that's it." And then I never stopped.
That's great. And is Aurora Teagarden, that's one of your favorites, or
I
you have a lot of
love
favorites?
Aurora Teagarden. You just can't get past her in that little town. I love Aurora Teagarden. I love Haley Dean. I love the mystery girls. So I love Haley Dean. I really like morning show mysteries, though I think the strongest chemistry, and it's not fair because they're married, is Picture Perfect Mysteries. They have such good chemistry. And sometimes couples have trouble conveying chemistry in a healthy way and in like a normal way on camera, but they are just Alexa Panavega, right? They just are fantastic together.
Yeah, they took a couple tries, I think, to get that chemistry on screen. Like their first Christmas movie was not my favorite, but I feel like by the time they got to the mystery series, they was really clipping along. And the director Ron Oliver, I think he has a little bit of style and class and to his directing, which adds something to that series, I think.
Oh, I bet, because they're so well done. Like, I know that these are all supposed to be fun and they're not exactly graded on the same scale of like a Oscar-worthy production or anything, but I genuinely enjoy them. And so that's cool to hear.
Yeah, well, and Amy, you're a big Aurora Teagarden fan, right?
Yes, I love Aurora, but I've also read the books too, which made me love it even more. But
yeah.
I forgot that they're based on the cozies too. I will go back and
very
check out
loosely
the series.
based.
Oh yeah,
yeah.
Because the Baker ones, I used to read those books. The Hannah Swenson, Joanna Fluke wrote them, right? The Hannah Swenson mysteries.
We'll definitely have to have you on for mystery recap next year for sure.
Oh, please. Yeah. That's like I wouldn't need the assignment to watch all of those movies.
Yeah. Well, that's great. We're so excited to have you in the Hallmarkies family. And we are here. We're going to talk about two Netflix movies just real quick, me and Amy. And then, because I don't think we kind of added them late. And then we're going to spend the majority of the time, all three of us, talking about the Lifetime movies from this last weekend. So I was able to review both of these Netflix films over on my channel, and I'll put a link down to both of those reviews if people want to learn more of my thoughts. I did I was able to review several movies from Netflix over on my channel. I'll put a link down to my channel in the description, including Operation Christmas Drop that we're going to talk about. But this movie is all about, like, it's a real thing, this Operation Christmas Drop that happens in Guam, and they drop these crates on the various islands that have needs, and they have supplies and food and other things like that. And so Kat Graham plays this woman who's sent over to do this report, and she ends up meeting Alexander Ludwig, who's the hot, handsome soldier over there. And it also has Trezu Maharo, who we love on this podcast. And Amy, did you get a chance to see this one?
Yes, I did. I absolutely loved this movie.
Yeah. It was really fun because it had just a different energy, because it's on this tropical island and they're making snow out of coconut, and just it was fun. Just a different setting.
Yeah, it was really nice. And one of the things I really loved about it is there's this little gecko that's like, it's CGI gecko, but it's really cute. And the cast was amazing. They had really good chemistry. It was funny, and it was just a really great story.
The CGI gecko, it was a little cheesy. I mean, it's, I guess, part of the fun of these movies, but I don't know why they didn't just get a gecko. Like, I mean,
were they actually in Guam?
but even if they weren't, like the local zoos and so, like geckos, it just doesn't seem like that would be an animal that hard to find.
I don't know.
Why did they need to make a CGI one? It was so weird. But yeah, it's really cute. I gave it fresh on Rotten Tomatoes, and I'm so happy right now. It's at 67%, and I'm like, I can't believe this little Christmas rom-com is fresh. Because usually I feel like critics are so tough on these rom-coms. I'm so proud of my critic brethren and sisters. Yeah, I enjoyed it. I mean, Virginia Madsen is kind of the stuffy congresswoman, and she's making a fuss when they're putting together these drops, that's done fully on donations. Come on, what's wrong?
And when you think about it, like, this has been going on in Guam since I believe 1955.
Yeah, something like that. So it's
I was like, what is she talking? Like, what does she? How does she not know?
Yeah, it's the longest relief or thing that's done like that that's been going on the longest in the military. They have a thing at the end that talks about that. And so yeah, it was fun. It was cute at the end that she's able to bring his family there. I mean, this is all completely fictionalized.
Yeah,
for the drop is real, but all the characters. But yeah, what out of if we were gonna do stars for non-Hallmark, what would you give this one?
I gave it 4.5 out of 5.
Ooh,
it's really good.
I mean, I gave it a 6 out of 10 on my review, but that's judging it based on all other movies. But if I'm judging it based on TV movies, it's kind of different for me, at least. I would probably give it a 3.5 for me. I really did enjoy it, though. We'd like to take a second and thank our sponsor for this episode of the podcast. They're the good folks over at Care Of. And Care Of is a wellness brand that makes it easy to maintain your health goals with a customized vitamin plan that helps you feel your best today and supports long-term health. They provide high-quality products with personalization that makes it so great to use. They've been a sponsor of ours for quite a while, and I've really enjoyed using their products. You start out by taking a quiz, and the online quiz helps you. It's a 5-minute online quiz that helps you ask questions about your diet, your fitness level, your sleep needs. All those other things are taken into place, and we find the perfect vitamins for you and for your health needs. And it's great when you get them. They are in little packets. It has your name on it and a little saying and everything. And it just feels very personal, and rather than just taking a multivitamin. And so I think it's really, really great. And when I took the online quiz, I was able to kind of narrow down the most important things for me was help with my sleep. And so I was able to get the Dream Sticks as part of my order. And that's something that was very helpful with melatonin and other healthy nutrients and chains. It's important to get ahead of taking care of your immune health. It takes about 30 days for your body to adapt to new nutrients. So now is a great time to update your vitamin and wellness routines to help support your immune systems this fall. And we're getting into the winter, and we just all need to be as healthy as we possibly can. So I think it's a great time to sign up for Care Of, take the quiz, and get the vitamins and supplements that you need. So right now you can get 50% off your first Care Of order. Go to takecareof.com, enter code Hallmarkies50. That's 50% off your first order. Takecareof.com and enter code Hallmarkies50. So then the other one that came out this last weekend, and this I didn't even know about, we didn't preview it, I hadn't heard of it, is Midnight at the Magnolia. And this stars Natalie Hall. And that's why I watched it, because I love her and I enjoyed it so much. I actually was like, I'm going to find out if she wants to do an interview. And she listens to our podcast. And so so she came on and we did the interview because she had a Lifetime movie we're going to talk about this weekend as well. And I just this movie, she plays a radio personality that they have, like her and her best BFF growing up. They have this radio show, and they give advice on relationships and other things like that. And they decide that they are going to pretend to be in a relationship in order to get this satellite deal or whatever. And there's going to be this big reveal of their relationship at this club that they love. And of course, nothing, kind of goes right, and it's all kinds of drama. But I just really enjoyed it. I really thought they had great chemistry between her and Evan Williams. And I love the whole fake relationship thing. And their families were super, super close. So there was some like stakes and weight to it all. And I don't know, I even liked his song. I think I thought it was a good song. And I thought she was really sweet in it, and I just had a lot of fun watching it. What did you think of it?
Yeah, I thought it was really cute. I liked the premise. It just the conflict towards the end and everything, for me, it was kind of weird. I thought it was just like, I don't know, all of a sudden he runs into this other girlfriend, and like I feel like she doesn't give him a chance to like speak at all about what's going on towards the end. So that I didn't really like all that much. But
she's upset because it's the same girl that he had kind of left her for prom. It brings back all those things. So yeah, I can see that. It was a little cheesy, but I still enjoyed it. And is written by Carly Smale, and I think she is so great at writing romantic comedies. She just does such a good job with the dialogue. And she did Christmas Pen Pals and Snowden Christmas and some of my all-time favorites. And I'm not saying this is on that level, but I think she's really good at her job. So what would you give Midnight at the Magnolia out of 5?
I gave it a 3 out of 5.
Okay, I will give it a 3.75 out of 5. Okay, there we go. So, all right. So we're going to talk about Lifetime movies. And so far, Mitu, this Christmas season, what have you thought of both Lifetime and the Hallmark slates?
I've only watched a few of the movies, but they've been really great. And I love that Lifetime and Hallmark, it feels like Lifetime especially, are going beyond the bounds of the traditional couple that we've seen centered in these movies. So it's cool to see. And I have enjoyed the slate, and I definitely enjoyed, not to give away my rating, the 3 movies that we watched that we'll chat about today.
Yeah, I really like that too. I feel like they are giving us new settings, new dynamics as far as the new diversity, as far as the casting, and I really enjoy that. And overall, I just think both networks have been very strong. It's a great start. And I don't know if it's just because I'm super just worn down by 2020, but I just feel like I'm such a softie on these movies this year, because I've liked almost all of them. There was really only one for Lifetime that I really didn't like last week, but this week, I don't know, I enjoyed all of them to some degree or another. But all right, well, let's talk about Christmas Yule Blog. That was the first one. This was on Friday, and this stars Sarah Canning and Zach Santiago. Are you, Me Too? Have you watched the Signed, Sealed, Delivered series?
I have seen an episode of two of that series. Yes.
We're big fans here on the podcast of that series, and Zach Santiago is a supporting character, has a supporting role in Signed, Sealed, Delivered. So that's where I'm most familiar with him. But this one is about social media travel writer Caroline Williams. It's sent to Carte de Mor, New Mexico, on an assignment where she meets high school teacher Oscar Ortiz, who introduces her to another side of Christmas. So, Me Too, overall, what was your overall thoughts about this film?
Honestly, my first and major thought was, wow, New Mexico is so much more beautiful than I thought or knew. If this is like any representation of New Mexico, I'm not sure where the movie was filmed, but if this is at all close to it, then I just have so much to learn about that part of the country. So I was really just in love with all of the beauty in the movie. That they have the ugly poncho contest, which was fun to watch. And the only thing I bumped on in the beginning was when she gets off the train and turns to Zach Santiago's character and goes, "Are you Uber?" It's like, no big city girl would think that her Uber had walked up to her without her calling it to
right.
her up and take her to her B&B.
Yeah, that was funny. I guess it was filmed in Canada, but they did a very good job of faking New Mexico.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
I mean, at least according to IMDb, it says that it was filmed in Kelowna, British Columbia, Canada.
Oh no, I meant they did a good job of faking New Mexico. I have no sense of where people are in the country, but is where you're based near New Mexico? Like, you're familiar with the landscape?
Well, I mean, yeah, that's true. I've been down. I haven't actually been to New Mexico, but I've been down to Four Corners, which is obviously on the corner of Utah and New Mexico. I've been down there and in southern Utah, and I don't know. I just feel like from my limited experience of the Southwest, I've been to Arizona a bunch of times, that they captured that pretty well for being Canada. I don't know. What did you think of the movie, Amy?
I thought it was good. It was a fun movie. I liked the ponchos as well. I thought that was fun. From what I've seen, I've been to New Mexico, like driven through it maybe twice when I was a child, but it looked good to me. It looked similar. I mean, really my only knowledge of what New Mexico looks like as an adult is from the TV show Roswell. So that's probably not the best.
Oh yeah.
It's probably not the best criteria there.
Or but, if you've ever seen Breaking Bad, that was all filmed in New Mexico. So if people
but yeah, I enjoyed it. It was cute. It got kind of slow at points. But I really enjoyed the poncho contest, and I also liked the is he not Santa aspect. That was fun.
Yeah, me too. What did you think of Mr. C?
I love. Are we okay to do a light spoiler?
Yeah,
it's not really a spoiler.
This is a recap, so it's spoiler. This is if you're listening and you haven't seen the movie, then go watch it and then come back. So yeah, this is a spoiler-filled podcast.
This feels like a big setup to a not reveal, but it just made me laugh out loud when she just goes, "Tell me, are you Santa?" at the end. And I love that they kept it open because I was just watching one where Candace Cameron Bure goes to Alaska to be a doctor. It's another Lifetime movie. The name escapes
Christmas
me.
Under Wraps. That's a Hallmark movie.
Yes.
And that is that's a classic.
And he turns out to be Santa. And so I thought it was going to be like that, or I think it's like Christmas at the Inn or something, where the inn owners turn out to be Santa and Mrs. Claus. But I like that they just sort of kept it open, where he just hoed his way out of answering.
Yeah. He was so jolly. It was hilarious. I really enjoyed him. He was really fun. Yeah. The ugly ponchos were so ridiculous, but I loved coming up with something creative. Like, I mean, we're just seeing the same old things. And that was one nice thing about this movie is that everything was a little bit fresh as far as the Christmas side of it. Even just the lack of snow and the New Mexico setting and the ugly ponchos, the tamale making. I loved that scene. That was fun. It was just a little bit different, which is nice. What did you think about their chemistry as a couple? What did you think, Amy? Do you think they had chemistry?
I think it was good. It was average. I mean, I wasn't like in love with them as a couple, but also it got slow for me at points.
Uh-huh.
But I mean, they worked definitely. Like they had chemistry. It just I don't know. It was in the middle for me.
Yeah, they did have a little, it did get a little bit slow at points. And you could feel the budget at certain points that wasn't super high. But I thought they had fine chemistry together. There was some cute moments. What do you think, Mitu, about their chemistry?
I agree. I would also add that when he sang, it sort of sucked me back in too.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
I thought that was another fun element because we've seen singing in a lot of these movies. I think singing makes its way into all three of the movies we watched, but it just, again, to your point, was just a different take on that as well.
Yeah. I mean, this is another acquisition movie that, because this wasn't made by Lifetime, but this is another one where I felt like the music is the background music was too loud. And I don't know what that is about these acquisitions that they struggle with the sound mixing, but it's like, if I'm noticing the background music, it's too loud. You need to turn it down. But I thought that they had a pretty good near kiss in this movie, and they were pretty flirty, pretty fun together. And
great kid actor too in this movie. The who played his son did a really good job.
Yes, and I also liked Sam and Betty, little side love story.
That was adorable. I loved that. That was so cute.
It really should be called Christmas Yule Vlog, not Christmas Yule Vlog.
She wasn't blogging very much. I was like, where's the typing going on? She was
vlogging.
Yeah, I was like, oh, okay.
So that was a mistake. And I don't think that her ugly poncho should have won. I don't think it was the best out of all those.
Fully agreed. It was not.
Yeah, totally.
Like, what are you doing? I guess they were trying to win over the reporter.
Yeah, but she's given a bad review so far. So
I loved the lantern scene. I thought that was really fun. Something I've never seen in one of these movies. Them filling the bags and making the lanterns.
Oh, true. And he told her to look down and not up for the lights. That was a cool take as well. Very true.
Yeah, I liked that a lot. And so yeah, I liked it. I thought it was cute. I thought it was a little ridiculous that her vlogging is literally bringing people on Christmas Eve or whatever to go to the parade. And she's sitting there and people are coming off the train like, we're here to go see the parade. You've inspired us with your amazing vlogging. But and then she decides to not take the big job and to go be with her man. Is very, very exciting. She shows up at the parade. And so yeah, I overall enjoyed it. I would probably give this one 3 stars out of 5. What about you, Amy?
I'm gonna agree, 3 stars out of 5.
And me too.
I'll take it a little higher. I saw that decimals were available, so I would say like a 3.5.
Okay, good.
Great. We love decimals on the podcast.
Yeah, we do.
Good.
That's true. Okay, so then we have A Welcome Home Christmas. And this was on Saturday night, and this stars Jana Kramer, Brandon Quinn, and we had both of them with director Brian Herzlinger on the podcast last week, and that was so much fun. I love them. And this is when a returning soldier needs help adapting back into civilian life. Army counselor Chloe welcomes him home only to be swept off her feet just in time for Christmas. I feel like that's not a very good description of this movie. Yeah, there was way more going on than that. But yes, so she is this counselor. She's helping the soldiers to transition back, and she's also like Mrs. Volunteer, and she volunteers for everything. And there's also some Christmas magic going on in this movie. There was a lot going on. But Mitu, what did you think of overall of this one?
I wanted there to be a moment where Chloe just stops volunteering and takes a breath. And I think that it's brought up that she should show up for herself in the same way that she shows up for others. But it was I think I look to these movies for like peace and escape. And I enjoyed this movie a lot for that. But there were a couple points where I was like, Chloe, you are too relatable. And I just think everyone needs to rest and stop moving for a second. And so
yeah.
something that happened when I watched.
I can see that. I can see that. It also had the hot chocolate hot chocolate competition, which was the best. I loved that. But Amy, what did you think about it overall?
So I really like this. Their chemistry was kind of like a will they, won't they type of chemistry is kind of what I picked up on a little bit, which I enjoyed. And also my favorite part was when she thought his girlfriend was his dog.
Oh yeah.
The look on her face when he's like, Otter, and she was like, his girlfriend's name is Otter.
And she rolls on her back when she's tired.
Yeah.
And puts her little feet up.
I found that so funny.
Yeah. Her mom was kind of a crazy person, but I loved her. I thought she was so funny. And her getting, I mean, how many different ways can you make hot chocolate? I mean, this is an intense competition.
There is many ways. Have you ever been to a Starbucks?
I mean, they pretty much just have one way, right?
No, you can get so many different like hot chocolate things at Starbucks. There's so many options.
Oh, really? I haven't been often very much, but yeah, this is a very intense competition. I mean, you could have had the whole movie just about her mom and this hot chocolate competition.
Yeah. Her mom was so funny. She was just
they really do try to tackle a lot in this movie. There's the hot chocolate competition, there's the town festivals, there's the military reunification, there's military dog reunification, there's romance, it's a lot going on in the movie. There's Christmas magic in the movie. So it was a lot, but I really enjoyed it. I thought it was great. And the when you have the Santa that cancels on them, the kids, and then this mysterious Santa Claus shows up out of the blue. I really enjoyed that. I know some people Mitu, where are you at as far as Christmas magic? What do you like that?
I love Christmas magic. I didn't grow up in an American home. And so I didn't grow up with traditional Christmas in that sense. So I just eat it up whenever I see it on camera, or on film. Miracle on 34th Street was one of my favorite movies. I love the idea of firmly defending the existence of Christmas magic. And so I loved it. The other piece of this movie that I was obsessed with was General O'Toole, because I'm currently doing a rewatch of Sister on Netflix. And so seeing Tim Reed as the hot chocolate man or judge was exciting too.
Yeah, and I feel like he hasn't been used all that well in the few of these Christmas movies that I've seen him in over the last couple of years. Yeah. So this was definitely the best use of him.
Yeah.
Was the My Christmas Inn, when him and Jackie Harry were just did like a Skype call, and they were like, "What? You advertised that he was going to be in this movie, but he's hardly in it at all." But
I completely forgot about that, because they had reunited with Tia too.
Right. I mean, if you can call that a reunification.
Yes,
by Skype.
Yeah, it was such a small, I was so excited for that one, and it was just like a small blimp. I was like, oh, it's very sad.
What did you think of their song? The two of them sing this duet, Silent Night. What do you think of that, Amy?
It was good. I was surprised. I mean, they had really great, they harmonized very well for someone who had never sang together before.
Yeah, I mean, because Janet Kramer has actually released albums. I mean, she's a real singer, and so for him to hold his own, I thought was pretty cool. And it was nice too, because they picked, and I've talked about this many times on this podcast, but they picked an appropriate song for a new singer to sing. And they didn't try to sing "Oh Holy Night." Thank goodness.
Oh goodness.
Because Silent Night is the perfect song to sing if you're a new singer. It has a small range, and it's meant to be sung with a guitar. It's just a simple song. So I enjoyed it. I thought it was good. What did you think of their song? Mitu?
I was all for it. I'm all about Christmas music. I agree. That's a really safe, good song for someone, especially as you said, Jana Kramer is a professional singer. If you're teamed up with her, you don't want to go all out. You want to like be in a zone where you can keep up. And that's definitely a song where he didn't just keep up. He did a great job.
Yeah, he did a really good job. Overall, I thought he was very charming. I mean, I really enjoyed him on Sweet Magnolias, but this and he was in he had a small role in a movie last year, but I don't know, this I really enjoyed him as a lead. I thought he was very charming.
I forgot that he was on Sweet Magnolias. Yes.
Yeah. And he was what we called Hot Dr. Mike in Christmas Wishes, Mistletoe Kisses last year.
He is Hot Dr. Mike. This is a good okay.
Yeah,
this
that's
is
right.
A good one too. I'm gonna revisit this. I like to keep, I don't know if y'all do this. I do like a spreadsheet of the new movies that I want to watch, but I like to keep tabs of older movies I've seen, like what's worth revisiting. I think that one is worth revisiting.
Yeah, even though there were no Mistletoe Kisses.
Yeah, there was
that
movie.
kind of upset about.
But you did just inspire me to do a rewatch of Sister though, so thank you for that.
Oh, 10 out of 10 recommend. Truly.
Yeah, I was really little when that show ended, so it would be nice to rewatch it.
Yeah, I love most of those TGIF shows. They're so fun. My favorite is Boy Meets World, but they were all pretty fun.
I don't think I was born yet when Boy Meets World was airing, but on like actual TV.
When did it end? It was like it was like 2000 or something like that. So you were born towards the end.
Oh, okay. It did end at 2000. Yeah. It started in 1993. I was started. Yeah.
But it's a really good show if you ever want to binge on. I think it's on Disney Plus. You can watch Boy Meets World. Anyway, so they have this little girl who is her parents are over in the service, and she makes a wish to Santa that she can see her parents, and this Santa comes, the special Santa. And after Jana had told her, I don't think that's something Santa can do. And the reunification of the little girl with her mom was so good. It really worked. I love the military reunification. That always gets me every time.
Yeah, I don't know about you guys, but I'm an emotional person. And so whenever that happens, even if I didn't enjoy the movie, which I enjoyed this one, but whenever that happens in movies and TV shows, I just start crying because it's just so cute.
Yeah.
And like heartwarming. But
it was very well done. And the fact that it was all sort of Christmas magic made it even better, if you ask me, than if she had coordinated it all and arranged it all. And I don't know, I loved that. And then you think the movie's over. I was like, how's there still another like 5-10 minutes of this movie? And then surprise reunification with his dog. That was, I was actually not expecting that.
And then I cried again. So
yeah. Did that bring on the feels for you? Me too.
For sure.
Yeah.
And I love when the movies manage to surprise you, because the actor who played the little girl was so good. She was so funny. She had that scene where she had to cry on command to try to fundraise for the toy drive. And they were like, I don't know if we're teaching you good lessons of like crying to manipulate people. And that scene like truly made me laugh out loud because she was such a talent in it. but then the surprise with the pup at the end. I just think that these movies tend to follow a pattern, which is good. Like that's the reason we like these movies, is that they're literally comforting. But when they manage to surprise you, it's almost like a little cherry on top. I was like, oh wow, that's like, I guess that makes sense of, because I was thinking the same. I was like, what are they going to do in the next like 5 to 10 minutes? We've done it. We've done everything.
Yeah, I know. That's so true that you love the formula, and that's what people are like, oh, they're so predictable. I'm like, yeah, thank you. I'm glad.
That's the point.
Yeah. but then when they do something that you're not expecting, that's also fun. So like, and yeah, I was like, oh my gosh, they're giving him back his dog. It's so good. I loved it. And so I thought this movie had it all. I thought it had your romance, it had your hot chocolate contest, it had your community events, it had military reunification, it had the dog, the really sweet doggy, it had music that was done well. I mean, just all the aspects I really enjoyed. So I'm going to give a pretty high score on this. I'm going to give it 4.5 stars for me on this one. Amy, what about you?
I'm going to give it 3.5.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. It's really solid. I can't imagine, I don't know, if you're open to these kind of movies, I can't imagine anybody hating this movie. Mitu, what about you?
I'll come right in the middle with a 4.
Very good. Okay, good. All right. Then the last movie that we have is A Very Charming Christmas Town. And this stars Natalie Hall and John Prescott. And it's when a lifestyle blogger visits a Danish town for a news story, she mistakes the town as a tourist trap. But after a handsome shop owner shows her the town, she starts to feel the magic of Solvang's Christmas spirit. And when I talked to Natalie, she actually told me that this film was done last December. So all of the stuff in Solvang was all like authentic Christmas stuff happening in Solvang.
Oh, which so cool.
Yeah, which I think made a big difference, especially in 2020, when I doubt any of that is happening. And so to see it happening was really kind of comforting and exciting, because that's not happening this year. And so it's like, oh, look at all the crowds. He's standing in a crowd. How how novel. There's a big parade and people are cheering, and I don't know, stuff that I never thought that I would feel nostalgic for a crowd of people, but I do.
That, and for me, the hugging, like when she walks into the B&B and they hug her, and like it's just like, oh yeah.
I know, that's what I tweeted out yesterday. I was like, remember when awkward hugs were a thing?
Yes.
That's so true.
Vaguely, from many moons ago.
I think I enjoyed this movie. I think that Natalie Hall, and I'm not just saying this because she came on our podcast and I know she listens. I'm not, I promise. She added a ton to this movie to me. I thought she was really funny. Like when she's getting so excited about the chocolate. She's just like, he runs a chocolate store. I thought that was really funny. And when she's like, oh no, the chocolates are we're going to ruin the chocolates. And I thought that she had a really fun energy about this film, and she made it fun for me. I think the story wasn't like the best story ever. It kind of didn't make sense to me why they did both. She's a celebrity singer and she's also a blogger / reporter. I was like, they should have just picked one, because that's kind of a trope, is the celebrity coming to the small town and kind of realizing how great small towns are. And that's a trope. But then also the reporter doing the investigative piece or whatever about the shops or the store or the town. That's like another trope. And so they did both, which I don't really think they needed to do both. And especially because she's supposed to be the singer, or a songwriter, I guess. But then she didn't end up singing. It was the other lady who ended up singing, which I thought was kind of strange. But so I wasn't that into the conflict. The conflict wasn't the best, but I thought that they did have pretty good chemistry. And I liked Solvang. I thought that was really fun. And I liked her. I thought she was funny. So I enjoyed it, the movie. What did you think, Mitu, about this one?
I agree that there were a couple tropes competing for attention.
Yeah.
But I love Solvang. Actually, I love A Cheesy Christmas Town. I have been there a few times. I was like, let's do it. Let's go full cheesy for this Christmas movie. And to your point, I loved the chocolate scene as well, where Sawyer tells her she can only have, is it 3 samples?
Yeah.
And she's like, well, who left you in charge of this place? And it turns out he was. And it's such a cheesy moment, but I found myself genuinely laughing out loud to it. At like seeing her sadly picking up like one sample and then he's counting them. And then also I can literally never see enough of Jo Marie Payton. So that was a cute little addition too, of her running that store as Estelle.
Oh, right. Yes. Yeah, that was fun. For speaking of TGIF, yes. She was on Family Matters. So that was fun. And Amy, what did you think about this one?
I really liked it. Their chemistry was really good. Like you said, though, there was just tropes that were kind of all on top of each other, which made the story not my favorite. But the thing I think I like best about this is I have also been, it's like 2 hours away from me, Solvang is. And so I went there as a kid a couple times for Christmas stuff with one of my grandparents. So it was nice to see it again because I've never seen it as an adult. Like I've never even thought about it as an adult. So that was really nice just to have like those memories that I was like, oh, I totally forgot that I went to this Danish town for Christmas once or twice when I was like 8. But yeah.
I think that also there were some fun supporting characters in this one. Like I loved how I think it was his sister who's like, I'm a lyric sound. There's Sia here and then you are here. Made me laugh. I thought that was good. Sia's here and you're next. And I liked I forget how the relation to the couple at the hotel. Anyway, she was like super energetic and kind of crazy, but she was funny to me. And I enjoyed the whole scene where they eat the Ebelskivers because my mom has an Ebelskiver pan and she would make them. And so that was a tradition I connected with, and they are so good. It's like a little pancake in a pocket. It's so good. And you put lingonberry jam on and butter. It's so good. So that was fun. I thought her sister was pretty good. I liked at the beginning. She's like, I'm married with kids and I'm the fun one, and you know it.
That was a really good line.
Yeah, that was really good. Although I don't know why her sister would publish this piece. I mean, or you think at the very least she would call and be like, you sure that you want me to publish this this piece? And you know, all they say is like, oh, I sent the wrong one. Oops. But this lady from the hotel evidently was so bonded, sent her this Christmas present, and so they were able to make everything okay in the end. But yeah, another little thing that really I thought was funny was she arrives at the hotel. They're looking outside, and the guy's like, look at this incredible view that you have. And I'm looking, I'm like, it's just plants. What's this incredible view? I don't know why
that's a ground level bush with lights in it.
It's just like normal hotel plants. How did that make me laugh? Like, ooh, the incredible view. Yeah, but you agree. Why would her sister post that article? It made no sense.
Yeah, it didn't. It really didn't.
No.
I think to your point, that was another conflict in the movie I didn't get, because her sister in the video call with her was like, how are things going with the guy? So she knows that there's a guy with vested interest in the town.
Yeah.
So in theory, you wouldn't then publish a piece in your sister's name who has a thing going with the guy. And we've seen many times in past movies where an editor is like breathing down their necks or
Yeah.
there's this like third party. But when it's your sister who has some contextual knowledge, I didn't get that either. Because I think my sibling would have texted me and just been like, you sure?
Yeah.
At the very
sure
least.
you sure about this? And you know, especially because she was like, I mean, it didn't make sense that she sent the wrong one, because she was literally working on it that night. Because she had to finish up the last part. But assuming that she did, yeah, it makes no sense that her sister wouldn't have been like, you want to check this first or whatever. But oh well, I was willing to forgive that. You have the reunification at the end. All is forgiven. I also liked the whole tour that he gave her with the candles, and then when her candle goes out and everything. I just thought that scene was cute.
That was a really sweet scene, and their chemistry pulled that along a lot. Like,
yeah,
it's hard to get excited over someone's candle going out and two people trying to light it again, and they sell it because you're just excited to see them get a little closer together.
Yeah. And she just has a bubbly energy that I really like. Some people probably might be a little much for some people, but I just really enjoy her, going all the way back to the 7-Year Hitch. I love that. That was her first Hallmark movie. But she did You're Baking Me Crazy this year, which I enjoyed. I thought that was fun. And
that's a great one.
And she did the bonkers Winter Princess, I think it was called, with Chris McNally. And that, where she's this princess hiding out in this ski town. And that one was really silly, but I enjoyed it. And I don't know, she has a fun energy that I think really is perfect for these kind of movies. It's a stellar day for her. She was in 2 of these. So what would you give out of 5 this movie, Amy?
I'm going to go with 2.5.
Oh, lower than I expected. What about you? Me too.
Honestly, I feel like I am the easy one on this panel, but I would just give this like a 3 to a 3.5. I really liked it.
Yeah.
It was just fit well within the genre, a couple tropes going, but otherwise great. I would also recommend, I'm sorry to bend the rules a little bit, but for singing holiday movies, one I plan to go back to this year is A Holiday Duet. I think it was on Hallmark. And it had a great original song and was a great entry in the trope of person used to be famous, goes back to their small town to find their roots, you know, does holiday song, gets famous again.
Was that with Chaley Rose in it?
Let's see.
Last year?
Yes, Chaley Rose and Roslyn.
Yeah. I really enjoyed this. I thought it was fun. I'd give it a 4 out of 5 stars. So I'm with you. Me too.
Yeah, I liked it.
And so there we go. That is our thoughts on these Lifetime movies. Let us know what your takes are on them, how many stars you would give them, and what you think of the movies so far. We would love to hear your thoughts in the comment section or on Twitter. And me too, if people want to find you and your podcast, how can they do that?
You can find us on any platform. Our podcast is The Pilot Podcast, and you can find us online at thepilotpodcast.com. And you can also follow us on Twitter and on Instagram at thepilotpod.
Great. And Amy, what about you?
You can find me on YouTube, Instagram, and Twitter at It's Amy Craig.
Great. And you can find me at Rachel's Reviews, all of our social media, iTunes, YouTube, and on Rotten Tomatoes. So please check that out. And make sure you're following the podcast at Hallmarkies Pod and Hallmarkies Podcast all over social media. And if you are listening on iTunes, please leave your ratings and reviews. We really need those right now because we need people to find the podcast during this holiday season. So please do that and leave your ratings for the pilot podcast as well. And then if you are listening on YouTube, please give this video a thumbs up and subscribe to the channel. We really appreciate that. We have our Patreon group, which we have behind the scenes Patreon watch-alongs, which this week we have our Patreon watch-along with Leslie Desmirandis and Kevin Duda of Two Turtle Doves. So we're going to be watching that along with them. And so that was a big favorite last year. So we're excited for that. So become a patron. It's only $2 a month and you can participate in all the activities. So check that out. And then we also have our merch store, which has tons of fun holiday festive designs. So please take a look at that. And thanks again, Mitu, for coming. We really had a ball having you on. We really appreciate it. And Merry Christmas, everyone.